I stood in my son's kitchen, staring at the small glass vial tucked behind the flour container. My hands shook as I pulled it out and read the label. Potassium chloride. My forensic accounting career had taught me to spot financial fraud, but my hobby reading about crime cases taught me something else. This chemical could stop a heart and look like a natural death. The room spun around me. I grabbed the counter to steady myself. My chest felt tight and my left arm tingled. Through the doorway, I could hear Derek and Vanessa laughing in the dining room with their daughter Lily. The same people who had just served me water at dinner. The same water that now burned in my stomach like acid. I looked at the vial again. Then I saw the folder behind it. Insurance documents. My name printed across the top. Policy amount: $2 million. Beneficiary: Derek Wallace, my only son. Before we continue, please tell us where you're watching from, so we know how far our stories reach, and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. 3 days earlier, I had been excited about Christmas. My wife Martha passed away 2 years ago, and the holidays felt empty without her. But this year, Derek invited me to spend Christmas at his house. He said Vanessa wanted to make it special. He said Lily missed her grandpa. I should have known something was wrong then. Derek had been distant lately. Our weekly phone calls became monthly, then stopped altogether. He always had an excuse. Work was busy. Vanessa wasn't feeling well. Lily had activities. But I told myself that's just how life goes. Kids grow up and drift away. I drove to their house on Christmas Eve morning. They lived in a beautiful neighborhood, much nicer than where Derek grew up. The house was huge, with tall white columns and a 3-car garage. I remembered when Derek bought it 5 years ago. He said he got a great deal. I offered to help with the down payment, but he refused, said he had it covered. Vanessa opened the door wearing a red dress and a bright smile. "Howard, we're so happy you're here." She hugged me tight, and I smelled her expensive perfume. Everything about Vanessa was expensive. Her clothes, her jewelry, her car. Derek told me she came from money, but I always wondered. Come in. Derek's in the kitchen preparing dinner. Lily, Grandpa's here." My granddaughter ran down the stairs and jumped into my arms. At 8 years old, she was getting too big to carry, but I lifted her anyway. "Grandpa, I missed you so much." "I missed you too, sweetheart. Have you been good this year?" "The best. Santa's going to bring me everything I asked for." Derek walked out of the kitchen, wiping his hands on a towel. "Hey, Dad. Good to see you." His hug felt stiff, formal. Not like the bear hugs he used to give me. "Good to see you too, son. House looks great. You've done well for yourself." Something flickered across his face. Guilt? Worry? It passed so quickly I thought I imagined it. "Thanks. Let me take your coat. Dinner won't be ready for another hour. Why don't you relax in the living room? I'll bring you some water." I settled into their leather couch and looked around. Everything in this house screamed money. The huge TV, the fancy furniture, the artwork on the walls. Derek made good money as a financial advisor. But this seemed beyond his means. Martha would have noticed. She always had a better eye for these things than me. Derek brought me a glass of water. "Here you go. Stay hydrated." "Thanks, son." I took a long drink. The water tasted slightly bitter, but I figured it was just their filtered system. Lily climbed onto my lap and showed me her new tablet. "Look what Mummy and Daddy got me for early Christmas. It has all the games." "That's wonderful, honey." Another expensive gift. I pushed the thought away. Stop being suspicious, Howard. Let your son live his life. Dinner was elaborate. Prime rib, roasted vegetables, fancy breads I couldn't pronounce. Vanessa poured wine for everyone except Lily. Derek kept filling my water glass every time I took a sip. You need to stay hydrated, Dad. You look a little pale. I'm fine. Just tired from the drive. Well, drink up. Can't have you getting sick on Christmas. Vanessa smiled at me from across the table. Howard, Derek tells me you're enjoying retirement. What do you do with all your free time? Oh, I keep busy. I volunteer at the community center, help seniors with their taxes, read a lot, take walks. It's peaceful. That's nice. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Derek mentioned you sold your house and moved into a smaller place. Yes, after Martha died, the old house felt too big. I downsized to a condo. Much easier to manage. And the money from the sale, that must have been substantial. Derek shot her a look. Vanessa, that's private. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pry. But her eyes stayed locked on mine, calculating. I took another drink of water. It's fine. Yes, I did well on the sale. Martha and I bought that house 40 years ago. Real estate prices have gone up quite a bit since then. The room started to feel warm. Sweat formed on my forehead. My heart beat faster than normal. Dad? You okay? You don't look good. I'm fine, just need some air. Maybe I'll step outside for a minute. No. Vanessa said it too quickly, too loud. I mean, it's freezing outside. Why don't you use the bathroom? Splash some cold water on your face. Actually, I think I need more water. My glass is empty. I'll get it. Derek grabbed my glass and headed to the kitchen. I stood up, and the room tilted. Something was very wrong. My left arm felt numb. My chest squeezed tight. These were the symptoms of a heart attack. I was 70 years old. It could happen. But 30 years as a forensic accountant taught me to trust my instincts. And my instinct screamed that something wasn't right. I'll come with you, son. Need to stretch my legs anyway. Derek's face went pale. No, Dad, sit down. You look like you're about to collapse. I'm fine. I followed him to the kitchen, my legs unsteady. That's when I saw them. Derek reached for a glass, and I noticed the cabinet door behind him was slightly open. Through the gap, I saw bottles and containers that didn't belong in a kitchen. Medical supplies, syringes, and that small glass vial with the clear liquid. Derek filled my glass and turned around. He saw me staring at the cabinet. For a moment, we just looked at each other. Then I saw it in his eyes. Fear, guilt, and something else. Desperation. Dad, here's your water. I didn't take the glass. Instead, I walked past him and opened the cabinet door all the way. My hands shook as I pulled out the vial. Potassium chloride. Then I saw the folder. Life insurance documents. My life insurance. Dad, I can explain. The front door burst open. Police! Nobody move! I turned around, confused. 3 officers stood in the doorway, but they weren't looking at Derek. They were looking at me. Howard Wallace. We received a call about a disturbance at this address. Derek stepped forward quickly. Officers, thank God you're here. My father is having some kind of episode. He's confused, disoriented. I think he's having a medical emergency. My mouth opened, but no words came out. My chest still hurt. My arm still tingled. But my mind was clear enough to understand what was happening. Derek was trying to flip this on me. Sir, do you need medical attention? The lead officer, a woman with kind eyes, stepped closer to me. I clutched the vial in my hand. I found this in my son's kitchen, potassium chloride, and life insurance papers with my name on them. Vanessa appeared in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. Officers, please help us. Howard has been struggling since his wife died. We're so worried about him. Tonight he started acting paranoid, accusing us of terrible things. We think he might be having a breakdown. That's not true. My voice cracked. They poisoned my water. Look at this vial. Test it. Test my blood. You'll see. The officer looked at Derek. Sir, is your father on any medications? Does he have a history of mental illness? No mental illness, but he's been very depressed, lonely. Sometimes he gets confused. Last month he forgot my daughter's birthday completely. Derek's voice sounded so concerned, so genuine. Dad, nobody poisoned you. You're not thinking clearly. I looked at the vial in my hand, then at the insurance papers, then at my son's face. He looked so sincere, so worried. For a moment, doubt crept in. Was I losing my mind? Had grief finally broken me? No. I knew what I saw. I knew what I felt. Officer, please. I'm a retired forensic accountant. I spent 30 years investigating financial crimes. I know evidence when I see it. Test this vial. Test my blood. That's all I'm asking. The officer looked at her partner, then back at me. Sir, we can't just test things without cause. But if you're feeling unwell, we can call an ambulance. Get you checked out at the hospital. Yes, Vanessa said. Please, that's a wonderful idea. Howard, let's get you to a doctor. I realized what they were doing. Once I was at the hospital, once I was labeled as mentally unstable, nothing I said would matter. The insurance policy would look like paranoid fantasy. The vial would disappear, and I would either die from the poison in my system or be committed to a psychiatric facility. I don't need a hospital. I need you to investigate my son. The officer's expression shifted from concern to annoyance. Mr. Wallace, your son hasn't done anything wrong. He called us because he was worried about you. Now you can either go to the hospital voluntarily, or we can involuntarily commit you for evaluation. Your choice. Derek didn't call the police. I didn't call the police. So who did? Lily appeared at the top of the stairs. Grandpa, why are the police here? Baby, go back to your room, Vanessa said sharply. But Lily stayed there, watching with wide eyes. And suddenly I understood. I couldn't make a scene. I couldn't let my granddaughter watch her grandfather get dragged away by police, screaming about murder plots. That would traumatize her forever. Fine, I said quietly. I'll go to the hospital. Derek's shoulders relaxed. Thank you, Dad. This is for the best. We just want to make sure you're okay. The ambulance arrived 15 minutes later. As the paramedics checked my vital signs, I slipped the vial into my pocket. Nobody noticed. Blood pressure is elevated. Heart rate is fast but steady, one paramedic said. Sir, are you experiencing chest pain? A little. It's getting better now. We'll take you in for observation. Could be anxiety, could be cardiac. Better safe than sorry. As they wheeled me out on the stretcher, I caught Derek's eye. He thought he won. He thought I would die in that hospital or be declared insane, and his $2 million would be safe. But Derek forgot one thing. I didn't survive 30 years as a forensic accountant by being stupid. I survived by being patient, by gathering evidence, by building airtight cases. At the hospital, they ran tests, EKG, blood work, the whole routine. A young doctor came in around midnight. "Mr. Wallace, good news. Your heart looks fine. No signs of a cardiac event. Your blood work is mostly normal, though we did find some elevated potassium levels. Not dangerous yet, but unusual. Are you taking any supplements?" "No supplements. Doctor, I need you to run a specific test. Check for potassium chloride poisoning." She frowned. "That's a very specific request. Why would you think—" "Please, I'm begging you. I have reason to believe someone tried to poison me tonight." She studied my face for a long moment. "Mr. Wallace, I'm going to be honest with you. Your son called earlier. He's very worried about your mental state. He said you've been paranoid lately." "I'm not paranoid. I found evidence." "Evidence of what?" I pulled out the vial from my pocket. "This, I found it in my son's kitchen, right before I started feeling symptoms." The doctor took the vial and examined it. Her expression changed. "Where exactly did you find this?" "Hidden behind the flour container in his kitchen cabinet, along with insurance papers showing a $2 million policy on my life." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Wait here." She left the room. 20 minutes later, she returned with a police detective, not the officers from Derek's house. Someone new. "Mr. Wallace, I'm Detective Raymond Hayes. Dr. Chen tells me you have some concerns about potential poisoning. Walk me through everything that happened tonight." Finally, someone who would listen. I told him everything. The dinner, the bitter water, Derek constantly refilling my glass, the symptoms, the vial, the insurance papers. The detective took notes and asked questions. "Do you still have the vial?" I handed it to him. "Yes, and I didn't touch it with my bare hands after I found it. My fingerprints are on it, but so should Derek's." Detective Hayes looked impressed. "You've done this before." "Forensic accountant, retired. I know how evidence works." "Dr. Chen, can we test for potassium chloride in his system?" "Already running it. Results should be back in a few hours." The detective nodded. "Mr. Wallace, I need to ask you something. Is there any chance this is a misunderstanding? Any reason your son might have that chemical for legitimate purposes?" "No, and even if there was, it doesn't explain the life insurance policy I never signed, or why he kept pushing water on me all night, or why his wife asked detailed questions about my finances." "Okay. I'm going to make some calls. In the meantime, you're safe here. Don't contact your son. Don't let him know we're investigating. Can you do that?" "Yes, absolutely." Detective Hayes left. Dr. Chen stayed. "For what it's worth, I believe you. Your symptoms match potassium chloride ingestion. Nausea, chest pain, numbness. You're lucky you didn't drink more. How much more would have killed me? In your water, diluted? Probably 3 or 4 more glasses. It would have looked like a heart attack. Very hard to detect unless someone was specifically looking for it." My own son tried to kill me. The thought kept running through my mind. The boy I raised. The boy I taught to ride a bike. The boy who cried on my shoulder when his first girlfriend broke his heart. That boy wanted me dead for money. Around 3 in the morning, Dr. Chen came back with the test results. Positive for potassium chloride, levels consistent with ingestion within the last 6 hours. "Mr. Wallace, someone definitely poisoned you tonight." Detective Hayes returned an hour later with more information. "I did some digging into your son's finances. He's in serious trouble. Massive debt. The house is mortgaged to the limit. Credit cards maxed out. Business loans. He's about 3 months away from bankruptcy. $2 million would solve his problems." "Exactly. And Mr. Wallace, that life insurance policy was taken out 6 months ago. The signature looks like yours, but I'm betting it's forged. 6 months. Derek planned this for 6 months. There's something else, the detective continued. Your son has been researching methods of untraceable poisoning online. We got a warrant for his computer. He's been reading about potassium chloride for weeks, how to administer it, how to avoid detection. He even joined online forums discussing it. The evidence was overwhelming. My son was going to prison. My granddaughter would grow up knowing her father tried to murder her grandfather for money. What happens now? I asked. Now we build the case. We need to move carefully. If we arrest him too soon, a good lawyer might get it thrown out. We need everything airtight. Can you work with me on this? What do you need me to do? Go home. Act normal. Don't let Derek know we're investigating. Let him think you were released from the hospital with a clean bill of health. Maybe he'll try again, and we'll catch him in the act. You want to use me as bait? I want to catch him red-handed. With your cooperation, of course. You'd be wired. We'd have officers nearby. You wouldn't be in real danger. I thought about it. About Lily. About the future. About justice. Okay. I'll do it. 3 days later, I called Derek. Hey, son. Listen, I'm sorry about Christmas. The doctors say I had a panic attack. Too much stress, too much grief. I feel terrible about what I said. Can I come over and apologize properly? Maybe bring Lily a late Christmas present. There was a pause. Then Derek said, Of course, Dad. We'd love to see you. Tomorrow, okay? Perfect. I'll be there at noon. I hung up and looked at Detective Hayes. He said yes. Good. Tomorrow we end this. But that night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Howard Wallace? A woman's voice, not Vanessa. Yes. My name is Patricia Holbrook. I'm an attorney. I represent your son, Derek. I need to inform you that Derek has filed a restraining order against you. You are not to come within 500 feet of him, his wife, or his daughter. Any attempt to contact them will result in arrest. Do you understand? My blood ran cold. On what grounds? Your mental instability and threats against the family. Derek has documented evidence of your declining mental health and paranoid delusions. He's concerned for his family's safety. He knew. Somehow Derek knew we were coming for him, and now he was making his next move. I sat in Detective Hayes' office, staring at the restraining order. How did he know? He didn't. Not for certain. The detective leaned back in his chair. But your son is smart. He probably suspected you'd go to the police after the hospital visit. The restraining order is a preemptive move. Makes you look like the unstable one. Makes any accusations you level against him seem like harassment. So what do we do now? We get creative. Detective Hayes pulled out a file. I've been digging deeper into Vanessa's background. Did you know she was married before Derek? No, she never mentioned it. Her first husband died 4 years ago. Heart attack. He was 53 years old, healthy, no prior cardiac issues. He had a $2 million life insurance policy. Vanessa collected every penny. The room went cold. You think I think your son isn't the mastermind here. I think he married a black widow, and she's done this before. My hands shook. Can you prove it? Not yet. The case was closed as natural causes. But I requested the autopsy records. If we can find evidence of potassium chloride in his system, we can reopen the investigation. How long will that take? Weeks. Maybe months. In the meantime, we need to be smart about this. You can't contact Derek directly because of the restraining order, but there's no order against you updating your will. I understood immediately. You want me to change my estate plans. More than that, I want you to create a trap they can't resist. Over the next week, I worked with my attorney, a sharp woman named Francine Brooks, who specialized in estate planning. We crafted something beautiful, an irrevocable trust containing my entire $8 million fortune. The terms were specific. Derek would inherit everything when I died, unless he was convicted of any felony or implicated in my death in any way. In that case, every penny would go to charity. "This is brilliant," Francine said. "If they try to kill you now, they lose everything. If they do nothing, they have to wait for you to die naturally." "Which could be decades," I added. "I'm 70 and healthy. I could live to 95. "Exactly. And if Derek is drowning in debt like the detective says, he doesn't have decades." Detective Hayes smiled. "Now we just need to make sure Derek and Vanessa know about the new trust. Let the information slip somehow." "Leave that to me," Francine said. "I'll have my paralegal mention it to Patricia Holbrook, Derek's attorney. Lawyers gossip. It'll get back to them within 24 hours. It took 18 hours. Derek called Francine's office, demanding a meeting. He claimed he had the right to understand his father's estate plans. Francine told him that was true, and she'd be happy to arrange a family meeting to discuss the trust in detail. "But the restraining order," Derek started, "is between you and your father personally. It doesn't prevent legal meetings with proper mediation. Would you like me to arrange something?" Derek agreed immediately. The meeting was set for the following Tuesday at Francine's office. Detective Hayes wanted to wire the room for sound and video, but Francine said that would violate attorney-client privilege and make everything inadmissible. "Then we do it the old way," Hayes said. He handed me a small recording device. "Keep this in your pocket. It's legal for you to record conversations you're part of. Just get them talking." Tuesday arrived. I walked into Francine's conference room with my heart pounding. Derek and Vanessa sat on one side of the table with their attorney. I sat on the other side with Francine. Derek looked terrible, dark circles under his eyes. He'd lost weight. Vanessa, on the other hand, looked perfect as always. Too perfect. Like a beautiful snake. "Hello, Dad." Derek couldn't meet my eyes. "Derek," Francine began. "Thank you all for coming. We're here to discuss Howard Wallace's new estate plan. As you know, Mr. Wallace has created an irrevocable trust containing his assets, valued at approximately $8 million. Vanessa's eyes gleamed. $8 million. Double what they thought. "The trust has specific terms," Francine continued. She slid copies across the table. "Derek Wallace is the primary beneficiary, inheriting the full amount upon his father's death. However, there are conditions. If Derek is convicted of any felony, or if he is implicated in any way in his father's death, the entire estate will be donated to the American Heart Association and the National Alliance on Mental Illness." Derek's face went white. Vanessa's jaw clenched. "This is ridiculous," Vanessa said. "Why would Derek be implicated in his father's death?" "It's a standard precaution," Francine said calmly, "to prevent anyone from accelerating their inheritance." "This is because of Christmas, isn't it?" Derek's voice cracked. "Dad, I swear to you, we weren't trying to hurt you. You had a panic attack. You were confused. We were trying to help." I looked at my son, really looked at him, and I saw something I hadn't expected. Terror. But not the terror of being caught, the terror of something else. "Derek," I said quietly, "tell me the truth. All of it. He glanced at Vanessa. She shook her head slightly. I can't, he whispered. Mr. Wallace, Patricia Holbrook interrupted. This meeting is about estate planning, not your wife killed her first husband, didn't she? I said it loud and clear. 4 years ago, heart attack, $2 million payout, and now she wanted my $8 million. Vanessa stood up. This is slander. I'm leaving. Sit down, Mrs. Wallace. Detective Hayes walked into the room. You're not going anywhere. You can't be here, Patricia said. The restraining order is void now. Mr. Wallace invited me. Hayes looked at Derek. Son, I'm going to give you one chance. Tell us everything right now, and the district attorney might show leniency. Stay silent and you go down with her. Derek was crying now. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know what she was doing until Christmas Eve. I came home early from work and found her putting something in Dad's water. When I asked what it was, she told me. She told me everything. Derek, shut up, Vanessa hissed. She killed Richard, her first husband. She admitted it, said it was easy, said we needed the money, that we were going to lose everything. She already had the insurance policy on Dad. She forged his signature months ago. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. But you didn't stop her, I said. Derek sobbed. I was afraid. She said if I told anyone, she'd have to say I was the one who planned it, that I had the motive, the debt. She had it all set up to make me look guilty. So you let her try to kill your father to save yourself. I called the police. I'm the one who called 911 that night. I thought if the police came, she'd have to stop. I thought I could protect you without implicating myself. Everything clicked into place. The police showing up so quickly. Derek's guilty face. He called them not to help me, but to stop Vanessa without revealing what he knew. Hayes pulled out handcuffs. Vanessa Wallace, you're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Derek Wallace, you're under arrest as an accessory after the fact. Vanessa's perfect mask finally cracked. You stupid old man. Do you know what you've done? That money could have set us free. Derek would have paid off his debts. Lily would have had everything. Instead, you're going to destroy this family over your paranoid delusions. No, I said quietly. You destroyed this family the day you decided murder was easier than honest work. They took Derek and Vanessa away. I sat in that conference room for a long time after everyone left. Francine came back in. Howard, are you okay? I saved my own life. I got justice, so why don't I feel better? Because Derek is still your son, and Lily just lost both her parents. Lily, my granddaughter. Who would raise her now? The answer came 2 days later. Child Services called. Vanessa's parents wanted custody, but they lived in another state. I was the only local family. Would I be willing to take Lily? Of course I would. But when I picked her up from the social worker, Lily wouldn't look at me. She sat in my car in silence. That night, she finally spoke. Mummy said you're the reason they're gone. She said you lied about them. She said you were mean and crazy, and you made it all up. My heart broke. Lily, your parents made some very bad choices. I didn't lie. I wish I had. I hate you. She said it with such venom, such pure 8-year-old rage. I hate you and I'm never going to forgive you. She ran to her room and slammed the door. Detective Hayes stopped by a week later with news. They'd exhumed Richard Caldwell's body, Vanessa's first husband. The autopsy found traces of potassium chloride. Vanessa was being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Derek took a plea deal, testifying against her in exchange for a reduced sentence. He'd serve 10 years minimum. "There's something else," Hayes said. "We ran additional tests on your blood work from Christmas. There was another substance in your system besides the potassium chloride, Rohypnol, a date rape drug. It causes memory loss and confusion." Why would she use that? So you'd be confused when the heart attack happened. So witnesses would say you seemed disoriented, unstable. It's why Derek's story about your mental state was so believable. You actually were acting confused because she drugged you. Another layer to her plan. Another detail she'd thought through. "There's one more thing." Hayes looked uncomfortable. "We checked your wife Martha's medical records. She died of a heart attack 2 years ago, correct?" My blood ran cold. "Yes." "Howard, Derek and Vanessa started dating 3 years ago. They got married 6 months before your wife died. I requested Martha's autopsy records. They ran standard tests, but never checked for potassium chloride because there was no reason to suspect foul play." "No." The word came out like a gasp. "No, please. I'm sorry. We can't prove anything without exhuming her body. Do you want us to—" "No." I said it firmly. "Martha is at peace. Leave her there." But I knew. In my heart, I knew. Vanessa had killed my wife too. She'd done it to move Derek's inheritance timeline forward. She'd planned this for years. 3 months passed. Vanessa was convicted and sentenced to life without parole. Derek was in prison. Lily lived with me, but she barely spoke. She drew pictures of her parents in her notebook. She cried herself to sleep most nights. I tried everything. Therapy, patience, love. But an 8-year-old doesn't understand nuance. She doesn't understand that sometimes doing the right thing costs everything. One day, I was going through paperwork and found Martha's life insurance policy. The one Derek inherited when she died. $500,000. Money he used to buy that big house. Money that came from my wife's death. He knew. Maybe not consciously. Maybe he convinced himself it was natural. But some part of Derek must have known, must have suspected, and he took the money anyway. I sat in my small condo with my granddaughter who hated me, and I realized the cruel irony of it all. I'd saved my own life and brought murderers to justice, but I'd lost my son, my granddaughter's love, and possibly my wife had been taken from me years earlier than I'd thought. The $8 million sat in that. Trust, untouchable. I lived on my pension and Social Security. I didn't need the money. I never had. I set up a scholarship fund with my personal savings, $25,000 a year for students studying ethics, criminal justice, or accounting. It wasn't much, but it was something. A legacy beyond this broken family. Lily turned 9, then 10. She started talking to me again, eventually. Not with love, but with cold politeness. She'd never call me Grandpa again. That much was clear. On what would have been Martha's 75th birthday, I visited her grave. I brought flowers and sat on the grass. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you." The wind rustled through the trees. Somewhere a bird sang. I'd lived. I'd won. And it felt like the loneliest victory in the world. Thanks for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories like this. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments.